Today is the day that we are going to mix and pour this resin to make our resin rivet table. We're having a good clean up now, just getting everywhere cleaned up, dusted, hoovered, because we don't want any debris at all in the building. We'll set up lights all the way across here. These are the planks, you've seen them before. We've been prepping them for months, if not weeks. We'll be laying them out, 2 of them along there, so 2 that way, which will come about halfway up the room. I think it's 3.2 meters in length. And then the second 2 will come down to here, which takes us to about 6.4, I think. 6.4 meters. We're going to pour them in 2 separate stages. But we've got to get dust sheets down on the floor, polythene down. Then I've got to put a sheet between the gap, the river between them. Silicone them, bed them in place so when we pour the resin, it doesn't leak or pour out anywhere near our new lovely floor. Exciting times! Finally got started! Woo, woo, woo! So the mix, basically, it's TriCast 50 what we're using, and you've got to do 100% of that, 50% of that, so I can put the lid on it. And we've spent the whole day literally setting these 4 planks up, being honest, for at least 4 or 5 hours, just getting them all level, getting a base underneath them, putting sealants on that or tape on that, so the resin doesn't stick to it. Then we had to build up the side walls. Little side walls there, you can just see some little patterns. Then we decided to weigh the actual planks down. Look, I had to get a load of plastic boxes and put some bricks in there just to hold it down. Got a couple of packers underneath it. We've got it all level. And then we run some silicone just around the edges so none of this wheat underneath the actual boards itself. And then we've just painted it along the sides. Look at that, looks beautiful. Absolutely lovely when you can see. I don't know if you can see it from there, but I can see the daylight coming in, you know, and it's magic. Well, basically, we've just done the first mix, poured it into there, and it's filled up about 10-20 mil. We're going to add the tools in there in a moment, but it was very satisfying. And the key about mixing this up is to try not to get any bubbles. I've got a mixing paddle here, but I'm not putting it on a drill and spinning it around, just doing it slowly by hand like this. Mixy, mixy, mix to reduce the bubbles. We pour it in, then we're going to apply a little bit of heat to the top of it just to start to draw any bubbles up that are to the surface and hopefully pop out so we don't get it. But mask on goes for this type of work. But it's exciting. This is generally my first ever go at doing this 2-part resin. It's a resin with a hardener, and it's basically, it's lovely. It seems really, really nice to work with. So far, so good. You know, you've got sometimes 20 minutes, half an hour drying times, or usable times with this. It takes days, if not weeks, to actually dry out. So, there we go. A little bit in there. And then, now we're going to pour it. Woo-hoo! Make sure you check out this full video. It will be out soon. And see what we put in our clear resin. Right guys, jump back on cameras. Let's be honest, the soft one from that end or this end, eh? So we got the first bit of a pour in, and wow, it looks great. Got the tools in there as well. That was actually quite scary, if I'm being honest. Trying to get all that in. It's a bit dark now. We've turned off all the studio lights in here, but we had 3 or 4 cameras all the way around it. Literally watching me mix it, watching me kind of paint it along the sides to stop any bubbles. Then we poured it really, really slowly in there. Can't see me, I'm getting a bit dark. It's about 6:30 at night now, Friday night. And then we poured the rest of it in there. All these boxes are just weighing it all down so it doesn't move. And then it's obviously pinned into these little pieces under the floor here. The side walls are built up and it's retained the resin really, really well. So we're just going to leave it. We poured about 20 mil in there, I think. Stuck in all the tools that we want to put in there. I'll tell you a story about the tools on the main video as well. But it's quite interesting. They go back 200 odd years, some of them, from a very dear friend of ours. So yeah, right, I'm going to go in and see the kids. Whew, good night.